Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for SUI render and FET price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. We're gonna start with SUI. Actually, we're gonna see today in this video a little bit, of course, longer video, just a little bit for the daily as well, an overview to see where we are heading. Of course, for SUI, we have a potential here 1 2 1 2, and we are in another double 1 2s here, and you're moving toward the upside for a massive wave 3, of course, for 5 for higher prices. This wave 1 2 might be the 1 2 for a wave 3 4 and a 5, and then having a bigger wave 4 and a 5 4 and a 5 continuation toward the upside. Now, in case, of course, that you are in an A, B, and a C here, in the wave C, you would like to hit the 5.82. And this is your bearish scenario where you might be, of course, in a wave B toward the downside here after finishing 3 waves up for a wave A. In this case, you are looking for a big 3 waves, of course, for a wave B. However, those 3 waves is not finished yet. You might still looking for higher before moving, of course, toward the downside. Unless, of course, here SUI has, of course, or couldn't reach the 1.618 and only reach the 0.618, which is the most uncommon target here for a wave C. But it can be, of course, and therefore moving toward the downside here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a bear market. And I'm mentioning this in the beginning for the daily because many of you, not many, I mean some of you, has mentioned that, oh, you was bullish the whole time. You never mentioned any bearish and so on. And I was mentioning this scenario all the time in the daily, but maybe you skip it or you don't understand it. And therefore, of course, I'm going to start with the bearish here. So you make sure that you have a bearish scenario that I always share with every single analysis. Now, the second bullish scenario here is that you have, after double 1 2, you might have, of course, 1 2 3 4 5 leading diagonal wave 5 unfolding, which is, of course, has to be an impulse toward the upside. The final scenario that you might have here is a finished wave A here, and you have finished the wave B over there, and you're looking for a wave C to be, of course, very impulsive toward the upside, to finish, of course, above the new highs that we might get, of course. And I'm expecting it at least here, the 1-to-1 fib level, which it might be your A, B, and a C, $7.12. In case you are very impulsive in double 1 2, you might reach, of course, the 1.618 at least, of course, and looking for 4.545 later on for higher prices. In case of the leading diagonal, you're looking to take at least the high, and I'm looking as well for the $7. Now let's move inside it on the 2 hours chart here, where we are, of course, looking at this possible scenario finished here as a correction where we have, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be a big wave 1, 2 here, and you have already a bigger 1, 2, and then you have another 1. And probably your wave 2 here can still be unfolding until the 1-to-1 fib level. In SUI, you can still have an A, B, and a C toward the downside here, where you might finish, of course, a wave 2. So we gotta be careful with it as well. This is the lower time frame bearish scenario or deeper correction. You might still hit the $3 in confluence, of course, with this ABC. Now, what I see here, of course, is a potential finished several 1 2s. And because, of course, this wave 1 here, it was triple 1 2s. This wave 1, we have lost it, of course, during this downtrend here. We took the low, meaning there is no wave 3 or triple 1 2s here, the third one. And left us, of course, was double 1 2s. This second 1 2 here is an A, B, and a C potentially. You still, of course, you did not invalidate it because you didn't took the low here. And this is, of course, our invalidation for the bull run here, which it might be, of course, not really for the bull run. Well, you might still have a chance, but this is a very deep correction. Okay, so I would say invalidation of bullish here. Let's not make it so dramatic, guys. So invalidation of bullish, of course, and that means if you hit here, you might still have the chance for a big wave 1 2 here, and it might be very, very high probability, guys. So yeah, but of course, we're gonna estimate step by step. It is a testing area here right now. In case, of course, that we are still looking for lower, we have to be careful, and we might start to move for higher. But yeah, basically here what we have after this rebound and after hitting the perfect fib level, taken from the 1 here to the 2, and you have even in confluence the wave 5 here as an ending diagonal, where you have an A, B, and a C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Those are the perfection for a wave 5 taken from the 3 to the 4 here. And of course, in confluence, we have the 0.786, where we took, of course, this potential wave 2 there, and we're looking for higher. Now, currently on the 15-minute chart, you can see, of course, yesterday, this push toward the upside, very impulsive, of course. It can be already an impulse as a wave 1. You're looking here at a potential wave 2, still unfinished, I would say. So it might still, of course, hit lower. So if we take this high here for a wave 2 in an impulse, you're looking, of course, at least the 0.38, which has been hit. But I believe this structure is not finished yet, knowing that here it looks like very weird, right? We have several up and downs, but I think that here you might be even in a bigger corrective wave, A, B, and a C. The wave C again is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and probably one more leg toward the downside is very, very likely, meaning this potential blue box between 3.48, 3.45 might unfold, of course, a wave 3 toward the upside again. Yep, so we're gonna watch this. Now, of course, even it can be on the lower time frame. Well, I don't see really an impulse here. I see 3 waves, and it start, of course, it's still looking for lower before moving for higher. Again, we're gonna watch what's gonna happen. That was it for SUI. Let's move for the next one, which is a render, and we start also on the daily. So for render on the daily here chart, we are looking also at the first bullish scenario where we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're looking for a wave 3 towards the upside. And for the bearish, of course, again, I mentioned the bearish as well very often right now in the beginning, because of course you might be here in ABC towards the downside. Meaning, what if you are in a 3 ways down, you are in a triangle here in a wave B, and then moving toward the downside for a wave C. So we have to be careful also with this potential scenario here. Now, invalidation of bullish has been taken, of course, here already for render during this move toward the upside. We had a deep wave 4 and took, of course, this invalidation. And you don't want to really break this trend, which is taken here from the lows. And obviously that this triangle is forming around it. But if this is really a triangle here, and A, B, C, D, and an E, we have to, of course, be careful, because, of course, the wave E is towards the upside. It might unfold a wave C downward. And in this case scenario, what does it mean? It means, of course, a deeper wave 2. It can be even deeper wave A, B, and a C here that you are looking at. And by all means, if you have here a scenario, I'm gonna put it A, B, and a C in the magenta here, where you might be, of course, in this potential big correction wave. And you might be looking, of course, for a wave B and looking for a wave C later on. So yes, we have to be careful also with this one. It might be very likely also in case that we get for lower. But for me, I see, of course, much higher possibility for the bullish. And I see, of course, that the market is already satisfied with this corrective wave, already with 3 waves. And we have an impulse already. And I think this can transform to double 1, 2, despite, of course, the invalidation of a perfect impulse. And it might be, of course, continuation for higher. The next possibility here as bullish is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, leading diagonal wave 5 to simply at least to take the high. And the final one also is a wave A, with the same wave A with the bearish, finished a wave B over there already, and you're looking toward the upside for a wave C, which is, of course, should be higher, of course, than the all-time high. And in this case scenario, the minimum target here that you are looking for in a corrective wave for a wave B, meaning in case even that you break this triangle and you move for higher and you hit the 5.85 and you start to move toward the downside, it might still be unfolding here a wave B. Okay, so it's not only about the triangle, it's gonna walk with us even until the 1-to-1 fib level. Now, a broken one, of course, give higher possibility for this potential scenario. Next target would be the 9.38 for a 1, 2, 3 here, 4 and a 5. And of course, to take the all-time high. Now, the basically the main targets that you are looking for here, at least in case you are in a wave C here in a regular flat, you might be looking, of course, let me take out the logarithmic. You might be looking at least for the $17.2 here for a wave C. Yeah, so this is a minimum requirement for render to take the all-time high in $17.2. Now let's move inside it, of course, on the 2 hours chart here. For the bullish scenario here, you are looking at a 1-2, 1-2. As we mentioned, several 1-2s here. We were looking for a potential 1-2-3 wave for invalidation, therefore transform this to 1-2, 1-2. And then, of course, currently we had actually triple 1-2s, and of course invalidated the third one with this massive drop, transforming this to double 1-2 again, A, B, and a C. We saw this scenario twice. Yeah, 1-2, 3, wave 4 invalidation, and again 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. This one has got invalidation by taking the low here. Yeah, invalidation of bullish possibility, and that we move down, and still, of course, the possibility there to move downward. So we have to be careful. We're not yet clear towards the upside. However, if we are bullish here, you are in double 1-2s, where you have 1-2, 1, and A, B, and a C, expanding flat wave 2, finished perfectly as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even you can call this a W, X, and a Y, unless you're still looking here for an A, B, and a C, and one more leg toward the downside. So we gotta be careful, because of course by taking the low here, you're getting very, very close to the invalidation of the second 1-2, which is a disaster, right? Because if this happen, invalidation of bullish again, and that means, of course, you cannot consider this a 1-2, A, B, and a C. This is impossible. If you lose this 1-2, A, B, C, you lose both 1-2s directly, automatically, right? So once this happens, directly we're gonna move toward the downside for a bigger potential ABC here, which is also again very low possibility to be in 1-2, because if you take this low again, it's gone. Yeah, so this is also invalidation of bull run, I would say. This one, it has to be dramatic, because this is gonna lead to a deeper correction, bull run, okay, which is already explained, of course, in the daily. Yeah, and if we move to this area, you might be in your wave C here as an A, B, C, D, and a wave E, and then you move toward the downside. Okay, if we got to this area, it's gone. It is a triangle here, right? A, B, C, D, E, and then we move down. Even if you take like this area, we might shift higher for wave E, and then we move down. So we have to be careful for these scenarios. I'm gonna watch it, of course, for you guys as well. Let's keep the things, of course, very clear, and that we have still, of course, a risk here to drop down and to invalidate the bull run. So we have to be careful. The invalidation can simply directly in just one hour, everything can be invalidated, guys. So we gotta be careful. Or as you can see here, it's a massive drop. It has been made with few hours. It might repeat itself. Okay, so be careful. So that was for render. We have FET. For FET, we are looking also at the same bullish scenarios for render almost, where we have, of course, here a 1 2, another 1 2, and you're looking for a massive wave 3 toward the upside. In the bearish scenario, again, I am insisting to mention the bearish in the beginning today. So 3 ways down finished. You probably are very likely here in ABC triangle already, and you might drop down for a bigger wave C here. And that means your correction here for a wave B, right, can shift simply to, of course, kind of like triangle. And that is horrible, right? So we were looking here for a wave B at least, because it is much more common to have a zigzag, especially that you have got an impulse here, kind of. I don't know if this is going to turn into a zigzag very easily. Can be, of course, because zigzags mimics impulses normally. So basically, if this is a triangle here, we might drop down. All right, so we have to be careful without even reaching the 1-to-1 fib level for a zigzag and then moving down. Of course, if we break the triangles, this possibility is still there. But currently, it looks like the things are consolidating in a triangle and we might drop for lower. So it is a possibility, guys. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but currently we are in it. So we have to be careful. Bullish scenario is 1 2 1 2, wave 3 as mentioned. 1 2 3 4 and a 5 leading diagonal, wave 5. Finally A, B, and a C, which is your bearish scenario here in case this wave B is gonna extend. In case it is finished over there, yeah, therefore we're done. We finished there. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna have to watch it, and we'll see what's gonna happen, guys. Here, let's move inside it on the 2 hours chart. On the 2 hours chart here, we can see, of course, FET. Somehow, if this is considered wave 1, because we have potential 1 2 3 4 and a 5, and then ABC for wave 2. Now, if this is gonna be considered kind of like a zigzag ABC or AB and a C, that is very ugly zigzag, and therefore it can be if it wants to, which it might turns it into A, B, and a C, and a D, and a E, yeah, or a wave E is still unfolding, because this is definitely an impulse. You have wave B, wave C, and then moving down. So we gotta be very, very careful. I'm gonna keep this there to be watched. Okay, so we have to watch this triangle, guys. Yep, so we have to break it. So internally here, after another potential wave 1, okay, but don't forget that it looks also like a zigzag as an impulse correction, and 1 2 3 4 5 leading diagonal, but it can be wave 1 also as a bigger leading diagonal, and then A, B, and a C. You have 1 2 3 4 5 here, wave 1, and then again wave 2 hitting perfectly the fib levels as expected. However, we gotta be careful. If this is gonna get one more low, it's gonna invalidate any move toward the upside, and we might see here something, of course, for lower. We gotta be careful again. If this here is your 1 2 3 4 5 finished impulse, well, it can be, of course, but we gotta be careful with this low. If we take it, something else is unfolding. Yep, so it can be even W, X, and a Y somehow, but I doubt it. We have to continue for higher, but if we break it, that is a very bad signal. Okay, guys. Now, of course, you still can be in a way a 1-to-1 fib level, but you see already a finished structure here, 3 waves. This is exactly what we need, and we see 1 2 3 4 5 finished, and this pump toward the upside should be 1 2 and 3 4 5. If it's gonna be a correction and having another drop, okay, it's transforming the things to 5 waves or double 1 2, and you might be in a 3 4 5 4 5. We gotta be very careful, of course, with this scenario, guys. I'm mentioning the bearish on the daily and the 1 hour charts here because I start to sense the risk of it, guys. Okay. Despite the move toward the upside, this massive drop latest weeks, since the last week, is not a good signal. Okay, is not a good signal. Invalidation for several 1-2s in the other altcoins as well, and showing a potential of weakness, yeah, it's not a good signal. So we have to be careful again. Yep, so that was it for SUI, render, and FET deep analysis, I would call it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.